All right, we're going to try and do this without the microphone. Hasn't got a stand, so unless I hold it here, which I can't do. So, can everybody hear me if I talk like this? Pretty much. Okay, good. All right. Oh, well, you come over this way. Hold it there.
I'm the mic man.
Stick over there. Bring your stand next time. Okay. All right. What we're going to do tonight, doing some stamped patterns for groundwork and cobblestone roads, brick roads, all types of surfaces, sidewalks. You can make walls out of it, a jetty, a pier, an embankment, anything you can think of, you can make. So what I've got here is, this is just a plastic tray from IKEA. I brought a small one. I've got much bigger ones at home that I use. But this has got, it's about this deep, and it's got plasticine, normal plasticine in it, not air drying clay or anything, just normal plasticine, so you can reuse it. And it's laid in. I heat it up first to get it nice and soft and get it in there, and then use a steel ruler to just keep, make sure it's scrape off the excess. I've got a roller here to roll it down. So, and then what we've got, what I'm going to make, I've got little tools that I've made myself. They're out of plastic. Is that working? Yeah. Well, you can see that. That's just a little cobblestone stamp. Use it to make a stamp. Because what this is a reverse mold. It's a female mold. And this one's a bigger one. This is a bit of a, more of a flagstone, I suppose. And another cobblestone. It's a bit smaller. And then another one a bit smaller again. And that one's a bit smaller as well. So what I do is, let's say I just want to make a small cobblestone road to put a tank on, or an aircraft, usually not an aircraft, but a tank or a vehicle. What I've done initially here is I've drawn some guidelines in my plasticine, just some straight lines, so I can keep and I use my ruler, and I'll just pick one of my tools. What I normally do too is put a bit of talcum powder on things, which I'm nearly out of, and just brush that in. That way your tool will not stick to the plasticine after a while. It gets pretty sticky. Then I put the ruler there. I guess I'm going to get a straight edge, and then I can stamp a pattern. It's very quick, actually. So I've just done about 7 or 8 there. You probably can't see that. Can we see it? Oh, hang
on. I'll switch up.
Oh, there. Yeah, it's hard to see. Yeah, we can see the stamp pattern just there. There's about 8 of them. Then we do the next row. We just move the ruler down. And I just repeat the process over and over again. Each time you do a new line, it's going to push up the previous line a little bit. So you're going to go back and just redo it. And you can move your little tool around a little bit to make each one a little bit different in size. And like I said, I've got dozens of these things. Oh, that's not. I've got more over here. So you can make all different size ones. You can throw in a smaller one here and there. If you're going along the edge of a gutter, you can turn it and do a stone edge gutter. It's very easy. It's very, very simple. Now, another tool I've got, it's a panther wheel with a bit of 120 grit sandpaper wrapped around it. And what I use there, it's like rolls, and it spins. So I can just roll it on my plasticine and create a dirt effect. So you may want to do a little bit of a cobblestone road along the edges. You're going to have dirt, and you use this to do that. So I can just run it along the edge, bang, 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 and it makes a nice pattern of dirt. You can even make like tire tracks. You could use a wheel off one of your kits and put it on something like this, and just go like that and have a wheel go through it. It's very, very easy. Now, then what you do is you want to make a casting of it, and we use plaster of Paris. So if you've got kids, you've probably got Lego. So you make a Lego wall only about this high, or however big a bit of Lego is. Make a wall around it, and then you can spray it with the stuff you use for canola spray or something like that. You put a little bit of canola spray in there, very light, or if you can use silicone. What's it called? It's to lubricate garage doors and stuff. It's a spray and it dries very quick. Spray that in there as well. That's a good release agent. Works really. Everybody's got that. Then you mix up your plaster of Paris, pour it in the mold, leave it overnight, let it set hard, and pull it out, and bingo, you've got your little base. And that's big enough for a king tiger, probably big enough for a tiger or a panther or a Sherman tank. For this one, but I mean, like I said, I got much bigger ones. Usually I do them in A4 size, and so it's very easy, very simple to do, and and you don't have to just do a road. You can make a building. You can plan out on you make a wall. Plan out where your edges and straight where your windows are. Just draw. I usually draw in with a little awl here with a little metal point. Just draw your windows and your doors where they're going to go. I've got stamping your pattern with your bricks. You don't have to do all bricks, but it's really good for bricks. You get a nice varied pattern. You can push harder in places and make the bricks higher and lower. Then like again, you put your border around it, pour your wall about this thick, and pull it out. Let it dry for a few days. This is where's the camera? That's it. This is one of the walls that I've done for one of my Firestorm kits. That's a brick wall of a factory, and you can see I don't know if you as well you can see it, but there's a lot of good detail in that. So once you've still got when you pull it out of the mold, you're going to have a solid block of plaster of Paris. It's not as big as this, but like that. Then what you're going to have to do is drill out the windows and the doors and around the edge maybe, where the building's broken along the edge here. But you can just drill that bit out and use. I often use a steel ruler because it's got a perfectly square edge, and you can just run it along the edge of things like this to get them dead straight on each side. So especially inside your window here, when you've drilled it out, you can use like a piece of sandpaper like this and just flatten the edge of it. Make sure it's nice and flat with the steel ruler. Just run it along the edge. Get a nice flat level surface. And then you can still maybe have to clean up a little bit with an awl. You can just go back over the brickwork a bit. Just clean up any bits that you think need improving. You can add cracks to it with a hobby knife, or I've got a lot of dental tools as well. One of these little dental tools. You can make little cracks and things like that. And if it's all brick, if you want to put some stucco or plaster over the top, you can do that. Just you get some polyfiller or something and just put it in here and there and fill it up with polyfiller. And you can also put bullet holes in it. It's very easy. Now the second part, so that's that part. Now the second one was actually building a building from scratch. This is a piece, I forgot to bring, this is the only building I bought, but it started off like one of these. This is a piece of plaster of Paris or casting plaster. You can buy harder stuff like dental plaster, but it's too hard to work with. This is plaster of Paris. It's hard. It's good enough. So what I do is, if I want to design a new building, I plan it out on the computer even first, and then print out the wall I need. Like if you want to make a diorama, you can use this method to do your cobblestone road, and then you can use this method to to make the building in the back corner. So you plan it out. You might want to just make two walls. Plan it out. Did I bring a pencil? I thought I did. I did bring a pencil. Where is it? Doesn't matter. No, I'm looking for my pencil. I didn't bring it. But yeah, but you get you might have a plan, for the building that you've designed on the bit of paper, and you just come in here and you just where the corners and where the important points are. You put a little dot in each spot, each corner, You go bang, 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 and then describe it. And then I usually use a little hobby, not a hobby saw, more of a hacksaw or something like that, and just cut out the basic shape. And then if there's a window in, if I've got a window in the middle that I need to cut out, I'll drill out the four corners, and then the drill's amazing. It'll just go through this like butter. So you just drill down, across, up, and across, and pop it out, and the window comes out. And then all I need to do then, so I've got a rough, very rough edge, and again, like we were doing with this one, you just have to sand it till it's a nice flat edge. And you clean it up, clean up your doors and the windows. And what I also do is I've got a little tray, a little mould, and the plaster of Paris is only about this thick. And then I can use that to make window raised parts, like can we see on that? Is that? Where are we? Yeah, as you can see, we've got there's the raised parts here. I'm not really sure what they're called, but you've got the window sill at the bottom here, and a stone section at the bottom, and you can just glue that on if you want, and clean it up, and it'll come up really nice. But it's not hard to do. It's quite simple, but I don't know if anybody's seen this method before, where you use a tray with plasticine in it, and it's very easy, very effective. If you want to come and have a look at this one, it's quite nice. All the buildings that I've done for Firestorm, like there'll be 4 or 5 walls in this set, and I've got to sit there and stamp each brick. But it doesn't take that long. That one there probably took about an hour to do, to get all the bricks on that and clean it up. So it's worth a try. You can just make little diorama, make your little road out of this, and you can reuse it. Once you've got a stamped pattern, you can pour as many molds as you want, pour as many copies as you want to make, and you can make a long road if you need to, or around a corner. Quite easy. So anyway, that's about it, I think. But the plasticine I'm using, unfortunately it's black, but I got this from Eckersley's. They sell it, and it's about $3 or $4 a bag, the packet. So very cheap, very handy to have. But it's plasticine. Don't get air drying clay. That's a bad move. So, but anyway, any questions, or are we good? Yes.
Do you ever find you need to reinforce sheets of plastic?
No, not really. No, never. I've never had one crack on me yet. This one's quite thick. This is probably thicker than I would normally use. Thicker than this one was. Yeah, I usually make it about 7 or 8 mils thick. This one's probably about 12 or 14 mils thick, something like that. Another thing, like I was going to mention this, I forgot. Brickwork before World War II was not standardised. After World War II, when they were rebuilding in Europe, they standardised all bricks. So I can't remember the dimensions in reality, but in 1/35 scale, a brick is 7 millimeters long and 2.5 millimeters wide. And but before World War II, brick walls were two rows. So, what do you call it? Double brick. But what they used was head and tail brickwork. Has anybody heard of that? If you look at buildings, old buildings anywhere around Australia, if it's got bricks, not just tailed bricks like the long edge, but you'll have ones that go like that. That's called a head brick, and it was very popular in Europe before the war, for 400 or 500 years before. So that linked the double brick wall together. You got the head and the tail brickwork, and it was very popular in obviously in Holland, France, and mostly Holland and France in that area. Germany used half timbered bricks, which you can again make on this. I've made 3 or 4 buildings using this method, and you can just carve in your wooden beams where you want them to go, and then fill up the gaps with the bricks. It's not hard to do either. But yeah, if you're going to design a building that was built before 1940, it's going to have head and tail brickwork, or it's also called Flemish bond. And so sometimes they would do every second brick would be a header and a tail, head, tail, and then the Flemish bond is just 4 or 5 rows of just normal bricks, and then 1 row of head bricks, where you just got the and joining the wall, joining the two rows, the double brick together. So just remember that if you're going to make a brick wall. So anyway, that'll do me for tonight. Hope you want to try it. It's not hard to do, and it's really cheap to do too. Plaster of Paris you can buy at Bunnings. They sell it. I don't know about Eckersley's. They probably charge too much. It'd probably be really nice, but yeah, Bunnings definitely sell plaster of Paris in the bags about this big, or you can get a cement bag if you want. But yeah, just get a small bag. That's all you'll need. Or conversely, if you've got resin at home, anybody use resin, like 2-part epoxy or polyurethane resin, like I do for my casting? Again, spray it in, release agent in there, and just mix up your resin and just pour it in there. And 10 minutes later, you can pull it out. And you've got a perfectly formed road in resin, and it's good because it's slightly flexible too. You can bend it because cobblestone roads aren't flat; they're shaped like most roads. They're shaped so the water flows off to the sides. So it's actually quite beneficial to do it in resin if you can. So, all right, that'll do me. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.